Vaishali, tell the panel about yourself very briefly, about your academic qualifications, your work experience, and your main hobbies.
So, as you rightly said, my name is Vaishali. I have done my basic schooling and my college education from Delhi itself. I am a mathematician by profession and also by education, since I have done BSc Honours Mathematics. And I have a diverse job experience by working in 3 job profiles, which are NCERT, Delhi District Courts, and currently I am a senior technical assistant in DRDO.
Good. So, Vaishali, you live in Delhi.
Yes, sir.
Delhi is reeling under cold wave.
Definitely, sir.
The coldest day yesterday.
Yes, sir.
So, tell me, when there is a severe cold, the district administration has some role to play. So, my first question is, what do you think should district administration do during such severe winter? Take care of people, how?
So, the first thing that comes to my mind is shelter for the homeless people, because in this severe cold wave, the chances of deaths due to extreme weather are quite high. So, the rehabilitation of slum dwellers, and also there are various shelters, and there is an organization that is known as Delhi Urban Shelter Development Board. It monitors by inspection in Delhi various shelters, and also it takes out some surveys to chalk out a plan for rehabilitation of people in Delhi, especially in extremely cold wave.
That's all.
Right now, I'm able to recall only.
Would you also care for the school children?
Yes, sir. Especially in those schools which have porta cabins and there are tin sheds in some Delhi government schools. These are extremely cold in this weather, and right now I'm also recalling that the winter vacation has been extended in Delhi also regarding the cold wave.
All right. Now, I was seeing, as we have mentioned also, you're working in the defense research sector, right? In DRDO, and your office is in
Metcalf House.
What is the importance of Metcalf House?
Yes, sir. This is a very interesting.
Short, very brief.
Sir, I can recall of 2 things. First, it was the house of Thomas Metcalf, who was a former civil servant in the British government era. And second, it was the former training school of IAS. And Sardar Patel also delivered the first speech of the Independence Day. Not Independence Day, the first batch of the civil servants post India's independence. And for the first time, he mentioned about the steel frame, which we still remember the bureaucracy at the steel frame.
So, Vaishali, is it that your office is in Metcalf House that you are motivated to get into the civil services, or there are some other reasons?
So, definitely, when I first entered here, I got this memory live in front of my eyes by seeing the Metcalf House. But also, since I am in government service since past many years, I'm quite motivated to be a part of the governance system in whatever best capability I can think of.
So, what do you think will be the difference between what you are doing now and what if you get into any of these services?
Yes, sir. Currently, my profile is mostly research-based in the cryptography arena, which is a unidimensional profile in which I have to research in a single dimension only. But civil services will open a wide gamut of opportunities and diversity in my scope of work.
I also saw from your DAF, and you have mentioned also, you worked with the district session judge for a year, right?
Yes.
So, today, the Prime Minister, yesterday, while addressing the Chief Secretaries, he has reiterated that don't follow outdated laws. Now, how do you think these outdated laws, till the time they are repealed, can be ignored? Have you got my point? Understood my question?
So I need to think on this.
You're thinking, sorry. I thought you haven't understood the question.
Uh, Sir, with changing time and space, laws also need some evolution. For example, I can think of the IT Act, which was made in 2000. And since data has gone tremendous change with
No,
technology,
sorry, Vaishali, I'm not asking you the justification of this statement. I'm asking how can chief secretaries ignore the outdated laws till they are not done away with or repealed? The law is there. Can chief secretary say कि this seems to be outdated and so I will not follow this law?
so, as per my limited knowledge, a civil servant has to be bound by law because they are recruited to implement the law. So, I don't think bypassing law will be legal and also ethical per se.
Okay, my last question again from your DAF. You have worked with NCRT also.
Yes, sir.
You have heard of the latest decision of the government that UGC will allow foreign universities to operate here.
Yes.
Do you think that for school education also a similar decision needs to be done? That the best of the foreign schools could also be given entry into India?
Yes, sir. The idea of allowing foreign universities was to internationalize the education model and to increase the exposure of students. So, if this model is replicated in schools as well, some talented teachers and also some talented pedagogical methods can be included in Indian model of governance as well. But there are certain caveats regarding the accessibility of these models as well. And also, since a lot of foreign exchange matters are also involved in implementation of these rules, certain transparency and accountability measures are also needed in this regard. But overall, it will be a welcome step as it will increase the exposure of students.
Okay. Especially I pass on to Shardaji.
So, Vaishali, do you keep in touch with the news of Delhi in Delhi newspapers?
Yes, sir.
What is the hot news these days?
So,
Or more than one news?
So right now, the front page of the yesterday's newspaper was about the MCD's first session.
The scuffle.
Yes, sir. There was a lot of ruckus in the very first session.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the reason why there should be a ruckus there? Civic center ruckus? Yeah.
Yes, sir. If I recall the yesterday's news, it was probably due to the fact that there is a lack of consensus between the various parties that are involved, and also there is some.
On which issue?
Sir, right now the issue is on the alderments, in which the one political party was in particularly accusing the lieutenant governor for being biased in the nomination, and also there was some lack of clarity in the rules of voting as well.
I see. Any other news which grabbing the headlines? A bit less interesting. One news I read is about the new education policy that now class 8 or even lower than class 8 will also have a central board examination. Did you go through it?
Sorry, I'm not aware of
Okay.
the exact news.
A news is that like you have class 10 exam, there is a central exam, is it not? Either the state boards take the exam or the CBSE takes the exam. Similarly, there will be board to take class 8 exam, class 5 exam and class 3 exam. And class 3 exam will be through computer MCQ type examination will be there under CCTV surveillance. What do you say? Do you think it's okay for us to expose the children in class 3 or class 5 to such a system of examination? Or they should be only have examination with their own school and their own teachers whom they are familiar with?
First of all, sir, we need to analyze what is the motive of these examinations. Are these examinations being taken to assess the learning outcomes? For example, there is a National Achievement Survey which assesses class 3, 5 and 8 students, so that they are able to chalk out a policy on the basis of these examinations result. So if these examinations are not focusing on the marks, but rather they are analyzing the capabilities of students, so that there are more interventions in the policies that can take place. And regarding the question that whether they should be allowed to take these examinations in their school itself, so there can be certain modifications in the school infrastructure so that these examinations can be conducted in the schools. Dedicated spaces can be allocated so that all these interventions can be done in the school itself. There can be monitoring teams, and also there can be externals who can be appointed.
Do you think ground realities will support it? We have schools which don't have even proper roofing, electricity, other difficulties. If we wish to have class 3 computer-based examination, not computer examination, where do we stand?
So definitely regarding the contemporary scenario, all schools don't have requisite infrastructure, especially the computer laboratories. Even I have experienced that. But for the time being, we can have certain alternate arrangements, but in future it can be done.
Vaishali, I take you to another scenario. Suppose I find that a particular law framed by Government of India doesn't suit me. I feel it is ultra vires of the Constitution of India. I go to district court, Session Judge Saab, and say, sir, here is the ultra vires law. I feel it is ultra vires. You declare it ultra vires. Is there a flaw there that I cannot go to district court for getting a law declared ultra vires?
Sir, because regarding any ultra vires law, there is a provision of writ petition. And writ petition is allowed under Article 226 and Article 32. Article 226 is there for the High Court and Article 32 for the Supreme Court.
That's the scope of going. I mean, I have option to go to 32 Supreme Court and option to go to High Court 226. But is the district sessions court or district judge Saab is barred into looking into such a petition? Not 32 226. I simply find an application there. Will there be problem?
So as far as my knowledge is concerned, I have not heard of such incident.
Okay, it's barred actually. Just tell me one legislation which empowers women.
So there are.
Which comes to your mind? Good one.
So regarding the working women, the Maternity Benefits Act is something which empowers women to have the freedom and also the social security to make them financially independent and also take care of their household responsibilities as well.
Do you think MTP, what is that? Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, whether that empowers women or not?
Yes, sir. It
Think
empowers. It definitely empowers. It gives them the reproductive choice and also the bodily integrity. But I will say that it not empowers in 100% sense, because there are certain restrictions. For example, the medical board's recommendation is compulsory in that regard. So, and the medical infrastructure in India in particular is not up to the mark to make sure that bodily integrity's right of women are in 100% sense recognized.
Okay, thank you. I think it's a decision making which is important, that the act empowers in terms of decision making.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Vaishali, generally most students are afraid of mathematics. What made you choose mathematics as your main subject?
So the first thing that comes to my mind is the objectivity and the universal laws in mathematics that interest me, that wherever I go, mathematics remains the same. It's the beauty of mathematics that help me, like the concept, if I know, then I can explore mathematics in every area. So my interest majorly in the beauty of mathematics being universal.
What is Vedic maths and how is it different from general maths? Do you use Vedic maths?
So Vedic maths is based on 16 Sanskrit formulas, and it was given by Swami Krishna Tirth, and it helps to reduce the calculations, and also it helps to think mentally. I also try to use it in doing some multiplications in particular.
Okay. What is the sum of first 100 natural numbers?
So it's 101 times 50. So it will be 5050.
Good. Which is bigger infinity? A set of rational numbers or set of decimals? Both are infinite. Which is a bigger infinity than the other?
Set of decimals will include irrational numbers as well. So the set of decimals will include rationals and also irrational numbers. So I think the set of decimals will be larger.
Okay. What is the importance of Indo-Pacific?
Yes. So the Indo-Pacific is a very strategic location in terms of trade and in terms of resource base, like various polymetallic nodules are being found. And also there are certain maritime security related implications which are being associated with Indo-Pacific regarding the Chinese policy of string of pearls.
India is now presiding over G20. So what are 3 priority areas that India should look up to?
So the first thing is the institutional finance for development, because G20 is primarily aiming for some economic cooperation among various nations of developed as well as developing world. Second is some dialogue based on climate resilience, in which some particularly technological transfer as also some and also some financial transfer are being done for climate resilience. Third is more data security, and also certain regimes which can ensure that the data free flow is ensured.
A very famous dialogue is Tariq pe Tariq. Tariq pe Tariq. You have worked with the judiciary. So I want you to tell me what kind of judicial reform can you think of coming out of this dialogue? Tariq pe Tariq. Don't you think we can simplify and do something?
District courts in particular are having the highest pendency rate in India. And I have seen various interventions that were being done so that various alternative modes of litigation managements can be take place. For example, there were Lok Adalats that were being held on every second Saturday, in which mediations used to happen. And various cases at the pre-litigation stages were referred there. And some 150,000 cases were disposed in a single day. There is also a New Delhi Arbitration Center in which specific arbitration experts are being recruited. Also, there is a provision of evening courts and certain virtual courts as well, like the virtual Challan court, in which technology was being used to dispose of regular matters.
No, you didn't get my question. My question was, emerging out of this dialogue, Tariq pe Tariq, can you think of any judicial reform? Because the point at issue is that case is lingered on because there are too many dates. So can you think of reform to control this Tariq pe Tariq?
Since there are a lot of adjournments that are being happening in cases.
Think of IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. How is that more effective than a normal judicial process? Is there any ceiling on number of days within which you can?
Yes, sir. There is
two quick questions. You are from Delhi. What is the importance of Timarpur and Kingsway Camp?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to
Kingsway
recall.
Camp. No?
It was associated with some colonial history, but I'm not able to recall the
It
facts.
is not colonial history, but post-partition. Last question I am inclined to ask you because you are a mathematician. Ramanujan was constrained because he was made to prove many conjectures that he had given. So, do you think Indian mathematics has suffered because we are under compulsion to proving things? The entire Vedic maths is based on shlokas where it is stated. We don't prove because it comes as it was said, it's a language of God. So, what is your take on relevance of proof in mathematics?
Yes, sir. As rightly said by you, Ramanujan gave some 3,000 plus conjectures, and some of them were not published because he was not able to give proof of that. But regarding the fact that proofs are necessary to maintain the credibility of the statements that are being given, and proofs ensure that the facts are genuine. So proofs are necessary as far as the credibility is concerned. But since
Who defines credibility?
sir, for example,
West. So, this is what my question is. Indian mathematics got suppressed with the ideas of the West. So, is that not a reason for decline of maths in India?
yes, sir, definitely there has to be a change in approach. But there are certain facts that proofs are necessary to ensure that the results are correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Vaishali, you are from Delhi. Again, my question is from Delhi. Tell me two things which you like about Delhi and two things which you do not like at all.
First thing about Delhi is the idea of historical history of Delhi. Delhi has been a cultural mixing pots of various dynasties that rule Delhi, and there are various monuments that intrigue me about Delhi. And second is the vibrant culture of Delhi, which is in present context. Like, we have people from different linguistic domains who are working in Delhi, and I got to learn a lot from them. And the things which I don't like about Delhi is the pollution of Delhi, because it has decreased the livability and also the life expectancy. And second is regarding the women's safety issue of Delhi.
Okay. So now tell me, what would you like to do, given the opportunity in some capacity, to address these two issues, pollution as well as women's safety? Just one or two measures.
Yes, regarding the pollution aspect, first there has to be a roadmap or an action plan in which various micro segregation of issues can be done. For example, in the traffic or the vehicular emissions, there has to be a proper roadmap for the decongestion of Delhi. And also regarding the pollution, there is also aspect of Yamuna pollution, in which we have to ensure that industrial effluents are not discharged and the sewage treatment capacity has to be improved in Delhi. And regarding the women's safety, there are various legislations and there are various schemes, but they need proper effective monitoring and a proper command and control center so that these schemes are implemented in letter and spirit. And second is some infrastructure deficit is there in Delhi. For example, public transport is not so much effective for women still in Delhi.
Can you recall some very specific actions taken by Delhi police towards women's safety?
Yes, sir. First is the Himmat app, which was designed by Delhi police. It had a panic button and also certain GPS tracking was being there in that. And second is the self-defense workshops, which were being organized by the Delhi police.
Okay. Vaishali, this you must have heard of smart cities. It is a very ambitious project of Government of India. I think 100 cities have been designated to work towards smart cities. Suppose you are asked to create smart villages as a district collector. But what is your concept of a smart village?
So the first requirement of a smart village is smart infrastructure, because infrastructure provides a multiplier effect in the village economy. There has to be proper roads, street lighting, water facilities to ensure all things are in order. Second is proper employment opportunities and some sort of microcredit availability to the people to ensure they are able to be self-employed as well, because industrial expansion will take time to be implemented in villages. So some sort of self-employment opportunities, skilling infrastructure, capacity building are necessary to build smart villages in India.
Good. Now, Government of India is committed to net zero by 2070, and also lot of other climate, kind of commitments to the world bodies. Can you tell me 2-3 very important measures which have been taken by Government of India in the recent past towards climate financing, climate mitigation?
Right now, I yesterday read a news that RBI has launched green bonds for the very first
green
time.
bond was very good.
This is excellent for climate financing.
Yeah.
Second is the FAME mission, faster access to mobility in electric vehicles, in which electric vehicles are subsidized to reduce the carbon footprints of the vehicular emissions.
But Vaishali, I see a problem with electric vehicles, because electric vehicles means they will run on electricity. And from where this electricity is coming? It is from 75% of it is coming from coal. Again, a great pollutant. Don't you think it is somewhere contradicting? Because unless we have enough resource of renewable energy, so suppose I go for mass scale electric mobility, then I have to again go for more energy production from coal. So that will again pollute. So a vicious cycle remains.
Yes, sir, definitely. Since India is a developing nation, coal power is cost effective for us. But there are also various interventions that are taking place. For example, the Green Hydrogen Mission. It is a 20,000 crore initiative to ensure that the power which is being produced is generated via electrolysis. There is a need of better infrastructural push, and it will take some technology's effectiveness to make it a reality. But still, coal dependence can be decreased effectively by various interventions like biofuel economy, and also there are various hybrid modes of electric transport that are being used.
Hybrid, yeah, that's right. Good. My last question. Recently, there was a kind of cyber attack in AIMS. Are you aware?
Right, sir.
So how to safeguard from future attacks of this nature?
Yes, in that very news, it was being highlighted that there was a lack of cyber security professionals in AIMS. There was a lack of cyber audit there as well. So a particular department has to be designated in every government office to ensure that the cyber hygiene is practiced. And also there are some necessary safeguards like installing firewalls and having the antivirus up to date. These are some things which the government employees need to make aware of.
Something on number of portals also, that we should reduce number of portals.
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to understand about portals reduction.
In case of AIMS, the number of portals were more than required. So as a result, servers, etc., that thing was more susceptible to malware functioning. So that just you have a look at that. Well, they were recommended that the number of portals should be minimized. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Vaishali. First of all, I would like to know your opinion about the tussle between LG and Chief Minister of Delhi. Secondly, I would also like to know that should Chief Ministers have a say in appointment of the governor?
So the major tussle between the Lieutenant Governor and the Chief Minister of Delhi is regarding the decision-making powers, because as per the Supreme Court's judgment, the concurrence of Lieutenant Governor with the Council of Ministers was necessary. But with the recent Amendment Act, this was somehow made null and void because LG was equated with the government. And various files and various decisions were stuck because the Chief Minister and the Lieutenant Governor were not at par in their approach of decision making. And regarding the second question, I forgot.
Should chief ministers have a say in the appointment of governor?
So, as per the recommendations of Sarkariya Commission, they must have a say because the coordination between the Lieutenant Governor and the Chief Minister is necessary. So, there must be a committee actually that has to be formed in which various perspective needs to be aligned. Right now, it is in the hands of the central government itself.
Okay. So, Vaishali, tell me, how do you visualize Indian economy in 2030?
So, with the recent initiatives of government in increasing the capital expenditure and the infrastructure, for example, we have the PM Gati Shakti plan. So, I visualize that the government will break the silos of the ministries and will coordinate so that infrastructure is created at a faster pace. And also, since there are a lot of initiatives to promote the startup ecosystem of India, there will be some sort of tax relaxation and also some, I would say, policies to ensure that the ease of doing business environment will be better in 2030. And India will build since India is also building many unicorns, the unicorns will be multiplied by 2030.
Okay. So, I see you practice reflective writing. So, what exactly you do in reflective writing and how it will be helpful to you in civil services?
So first of all, reflective writing is a way to know myself better and also to analyze situations that are happening around me. I take up a few events that I think are very important in my life and I write about them and I write what I have learnt about them. And regarding the question of using this in my professional career, I think I will be able to analyze situations better by writing them down because reflective writing is like a meditation in a written form for me. So I will be able to think more objectively and more compassionately by using this hobby in my professional career.
Okay, thank you.
So Vaishali, last question we would like to ask, maybe from the topic or subject that you would like to choose. If you think that we haven't covered any important aspect, related to your DAF.
I think
everything is covered. So thank you, Vaishali. You may kindly proceed and we'll call you after a few minutes and then give our feedback to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Come, Vaishali, please come. Now we'll have an informal talk. You can always be very frank about something you want to know from us. So I want to know from you first, how did you perform according to your own self-assessment?
So I think it was good, but regarding the Delhi particular questions, I think I need to work more.
You could not Timarpur and Kingsway camp? Right, that is one. Good point. What else?
And also, sir, regarding the open-ended questions like the economy, I think I need to bring some more facts and more data.
I think you were slightly not so good compared to other areas in economics. And especially when Mr. Sumesh asked you about 2030 economy situation. I think it was a general question. You did not refer to startups or something, no? So you should have, Vaishali, discuss the major parameters and where would India stand. Give a guess. We will continue to be the fastest growing economy even in 2030. We will be the second or third largest economy in the world.
$5 trillion.
We will
economy.
we would have not only achieved 5 trillion USD, but would have touched 10 trillion. Say something. What is the target for 5 trillion now?
So it is by 2024.
No. 26, 27 पढ़ लेना. ये क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे, ठीक है ना? हमने तुम्हारी पिछली टॉपर से भी पूछा था ये क्वेश्चन, श्रुति शर्मा से, and she was not clear about this entire thing. You see her interview, आपने पूछा था. So 26, 27 is revised now. Okay. So when we are talking of 2030, it's beyond 27. So you can't say we would have achieved it. Obviously, we would have achieved. आपका ये कि साहब, see, there are two ways to communicate that you know so much. That, sir, not only we'll achieve 26 by 26, 27, 5 trillion USD, which is the target, we may be about to touch even 10 trillion, somewhere near that, or maybe midway. Startup और ये सब तो इतना, you were more abstract, general, be more specific. We would have continuously achieved above 8% GDP, or maybe double-digit GDP also we may touch. Big things. ठीक है ना? So this is one point since you mentioned. So our assessment, Vaishali, is that you have done exceedingly well.
Thank you, sir.
We were very impressed. You are comfortable, you are confident, you are in a conversation mode. This is what UPSC desires. You were fluent, you had good ideas, your quality of content was good. You could come out with a variety of questions you could field properly. Your knowledge about mathematics, and that too applied and what is happening around, was very good. The honorable member is very pleased to hear your answers. 2-3 things that we found has already been pointed out by you. Something about Delhi. Delhi will be in focus for you, right? And your jobs. So I gave you a hint that these jobs are very important for you. And they are all, big areas.
Yes.
One is opening to judiciary, one is opening to education, one is opening to I didn't ask you defense. We didn't have time. We didn't want to exceed 30 minutes. Defense preparedness, then delisting of, import items. You're dealing with the defense research. So defense would certainly be one of the questions.
Defense budget as well.
Defense budget. Should we increase the budget in the light of what is happening in Japan? Japan has raised its budget to 320 some billion USD, highest ever. China is the main threat. We also have threat of China. So in the light of China's threat, Indo-Pacific, he asked Indo-Pacific also, should India hike its defense budget enormously like we did in health sector in COVID? So maybe related 10, 12, 20 questions कितने पूछ लेंगे डिफेंस में से, तो इनको आप बिल्कुल तैयार कर लो, लिख के कर लो. दिल्ली की चीज़ें, अब दिल्ली तो इतना बड़ा है, आपसे गार्डन ऑफ 5 सेंसेस पूछ सकते हैं, अगर दीवारपुर नहीं पूछा तो कुछ और पूछ सकते हैं. सो जस्ट गो थ्रू ऑल इम्पॉर्टेंट हिस्ट्री ऑफ दिल्ली, और हिस्टोरिकल चीज़ों का ही पूछेंगे, है ना? कोई ऐसा वो नॉलेज बेस तो होगा नहीं. तो दिस इज अबाउट, सो इकोनॉमिक्स थोड़ा ब्रशअप कर लो, इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस भी पकड़ लो. वी डिड आस्क अबाउट G20 एंड ऑल, but we wish we could ask you more questions on international events. And G20 presidency, what could be India's gain? Advantage India as in the presidency of G20. This is the core. India will be in focus. Nobody will shift to some other country कि भाई और countries को क्या फायदा होगा. Showcasing India is the biggest opportunity that India has. PM has also mentioned that people are looking for restoring global supply chain. So you pick up all these things which, dignitaries like PM and others, they say. So maybe it will lead to more FTAs. I'm just guessing. Today, Piyush Goyal ji has said, we are working with many countries on FTAs, many more countries. So when these G20 people came, it will be worth doing trade with the G20 countries. Economically, they are the big countries. So this is all. We are very impressed, and you will certainly do well. Code पे मैं एक चीज़ कहना चाहूँगा, थोड़ा सा आपका, no, you could not expect this, but Today, incidentally, was very cold. So, and you were in Delhi, and you are so well dressed also from cold. So, and Delhi administration, हर administration करता है. आपने थोड़ा unstructured तरीके से बोला, you were not totally prepared. सिचुएशनल क्वेश्चन में आपसे पूछा जा सकता है बहुत गर्मी हो तो क्या करोगी, फ्लड्स आ रहे हैं तो क्या करोगी, एक्सेसिव रेन्स हैं तो क्या करोगे, अर्थक्वेक आ गया तो व्हाट इज द वे आउट, हाउ वुड यू, बिकॉज दीज आर द नेचुरल कैलेमिटीज और डिजास्टर्स. बम फट गया तो क्या होगा, कम्युनल रॉयट हो गया तो क्या होगा. दीज आर द थिंग्स विच कम इन द लाइफ ऑफ कलेक्टर एवरी डे. सो द प्लेस वे यू आर गोइंग टू लैंड अप, फॉर विच यू आर एस्पायरिंग, उसके बारे में आप किसी जॉब को भी ढूंढती हैं और कंपनी तो उसके बारे में पढ़ के जाती है, अरे ये बड़ा मज़ा आएगा, इंडिगो में अगर मिल गया तो एयर फेयर फ्री हो जाएगा. यू नो, सिमिलरली यू शुड नो व्हाट ऑल कैन बी आस्क्ड, यू नो, इन द पर्टिकुलर जॉब जिसके लिए आप जा रही हैं. तो ये आप एक तैयार कर लीजिएगा. उसमें 2 चीज़ें मैं ऐड करना चाहूँगा. स्कूल की छुट्टी करना इज अगेन ए प्रेरोगेटिव ऑफ डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. यू नो, दैट इज वन. You did mention later on, but only when I prompted you. Another very important thing, health advisory.
Yeah.
And creation of health facilities. You know, cold is bad for old and elderlies. So district administration also issues कि बहुत ठंड में मत जाना, सुबह के जो वॉकर्स और वो है वो सुबह नहीं दौड़े, ठंड में नहीं करे, it can be risky. You know, so all the things which are related to people, you know, welfare of people, वो ध्यान में रखना है. और बाकी जो है वो कोई और पॉइंट.
Yeah, 2-3 points for the purpose of improvement. One is that twice you said, as rightly said by you. So passing a judgment on something, though it is a light way of telling, but even that's unnecessary. It doesn't bring anything for you. So don't say that. Have your sentences without such cliches. This is one. Secondly, I didn't like when you said I am mathematician by profession. What I would have said, you're right, what I would have said, hearing you, that I work in the field of cryptography. And that would have carried beautifully my actual assignment also, and that my background. So that would have been, instead of saying that I am mathematician by profession, because that carries a totally different meaning. Yeah. Then one question, clinching question, which you prepare to put you beyond 205. I want to see you beyond 205. One is that how do we make students interesting in the field of mathematics? How do we make mathematics interesting for the students? You see, NCERT textbooks are already beautiful. In fact, you look the mathematics books in NCERT, they are well designed. So many things are there. It makes it interesting. Still, I find that children complain only of mathematics. I teach from class 6 to class 12 at my home, and every time the parents say that you see, iska to mathematics kamjor hai. So in beautiful books are there. So how with your knowledge you can contribute to making the study of mathematics more interesting? Prepare in case somebody asks. Okay? Yeah. Otherwise, wonderful.
Sir, I had even thought about this question while I was practicing. I was thinking of adding some practical elements in mathematical teaching, because right now what students often complain that I am not able to use this in my daily life. So shall I proceed in the way that how
keep
to,
it ready?
how
Sure.
to make it more application friendly?
2-3 things you keep it ready. Keep it ready at the back of your mind. In case it comes, then it will push you beyond.
So,
Okay.
Vaishali, two or 3 points. One is, while your presentation is very good, once in a while, a bit of smile also is a sign of confidence. Number 2 is STEM, especially women in STEM. Lot of things are being done. So we didn't ask you on that. So be ready. Third is on math specific. 1 or 2 special areas. Forgotten maths in Indian history. So nowadays the topic of Pythagoras theorem and all those binary system, Pingley devised it. So we are reviving history and we are also reviving history of maths. So prepare yourself on the forgotten history of Indian maths. That can be a very likely question. Due to paucity of time, we didn't ask. Tariq pe Tariq was only to bring you down to comment on fixing a date for finalization of a case. It may not always be possible, but it has been possible in IBC. So think of, I am not saying that you do that, but come out with a interesting reply on that. Okay?
Just, I think already what I wanted to say has already been said by Honorable Chairman and members. Just one small point on your attire. What would you like to wear on the main the day of your interview?
Sir, since it will be post 10th March, so winter attire will not be there. So I was thinking of a suit on that day.
Suit or sari? Suit or sari?
Yes. I have not actually bought anything, so
Just
I will be open to...
my very small point was that whatever you plan to wear on the main interview, during the main interview, you do that for mock also, so that you feel more comfortable. It should be a full dress rehearsal. All your mocks, whatever 2, 3, 4 mocks you take after this, just try to finalize your attire and use that during the mock also. That will give you a kind of familiarity and you won't feel awkward on the interview day.
And if you are comfortable with sari, that should be preferred. But it should not be you want the first time, that consciousness भी नहीं होनी चाहिए. सुमेश जी, आप कुछ?
Overall, very good, Vaishali. I share the same opinion. Just read more on economics, and we could not ask much on international affairs, international affairs. So read more on that, and we wish to see your name very high up in the list.
Vaishali, on the IAS civil services thing, you could add few more reasons. You said research is all about this. I think add some more virtues of these civil services. What all your career prospects, right? It is not just the nature, the profile of work that it may be the driving point in your case. But when it comes to civil services preference, add some more. Diversity, you refer to diversity, that you will have lots of other things to do. But there are other things. Public service. Research में बैठी आप अपने कमरे में research कर रही हो. वहाँ पे आप, you will be dealing with public and your one decision will influence thousands and lakhs of people. Just add to virtue standard है, whichever you think are good. और outdated laws का मैंने आपसे जो पूछा. So when he is addressing the chief secretaries, there are laws made in the state also. Right? Laws are not made only by the law ministry. So when PM asks the chief secretaries, it means that he is asking that the outdated laws which you may have in your state, which the state legislature makes, those should also be reviewed. So he will tell the CS only, either the chief secretary or the chief ministers, but since it is the meeting of conference of chief secretaries, so this is how it will go. So your reply should have been like this. Yes, you said correctly that outdated laws cannot be implemented, have to be implemented till they are repealed. That is one. But the idea behind telling the chief secretary could be that the laws which are in the state, because Government of India has already repealed many laws which are central acts, right? So that is it. Any question from your side?
Yes, regarding this particular question, if in particular, if we have to say that we can bypass them, so the answer will be...
Bypass what? The laws?
Yes, sir. The laws which are out
You were right. You did. I'm not. There are two different things. You said the right thing because I provoked you. If you said that outdated laws, till the time they are repealed, they have to be followed, right? However, the purpose, the idea seems to be that the laws should be reviewed and seen that all those outdated laws should be done away with, like it has been done at the central level.
More
एक
than 2000 laws, I think, have already been repealed.
सेंट्रल लॉ को रिपील करने के लिए प्राइम मिनिस्टर चीफ सेक्रेटरी को क्यों कहेगा? चीफ सेक्रेटरी स्टेट, अगर वो कहना होगा तो अपने लॉ मिनिस्टर की कॉन्फ्रेंस में बोलेंगे, या अपने मिनिस्टर्स को या अपने सेक्रेटरीज जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया उनको बैठ के बोलेंगे कि भाई आप लोग भी जो कानून है उसको रिव्यू करो. बट चीफ सेक्रेटरीज को बोल रहे हैं, इसका मतलब they want the states to also review. Am I clear?
I would like to add one point. You see, when we talk of services, so 2 services which you put at 1 and 2, they have, for them, every day is a new day for challenge. It throws up challenge on everyday basis. Every day when it dawn breaks, you find something already happened in the night. And then in the morning, before you realize, you have to think what you'll do by next 1 hour or 2 hours. So that challenge is greatly exciting. And it puts so much of things inside you that you enjoy every day in the service. Okay? Yeah. Just to tell you at the back of the mind that what are the plus points of services. First 2 services which you have put.
Any other question? Okay. So, Vaishali, we have given you very high percentage, 70% for your today's performance. And the panel feels that with all these things which we have pointed out, and of course you have time, you would certainly go beyond 70%. When is your interview?
Sir, it's post 10th March. The schedule hasn't come.
So, be on the job. Don't get complacent. Okay? All the very best to you.
You should learn lesson from that final of FIFA World Cup. No complacency. That yes, you have to be very careful.
The last week of February or first week of March, we have another final round of mock. And go beyond 205. Aim for 215 to 18, something like that. You are that material.
Yes. 200, certainly.
How have you done your mains?
It has been better than last time. And I think...
You appeared in the interview earlier also?
No, sir.
How many marks you missed?
Sir, last time I missed by 7 marks
The
from the cutoff.
mains? In the mains?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
You never intended to do MSc or research in maths?
No, sir. I am only BSc in mathematics.
No, that's what
And
I saw.
Sir is asking why not postgraduate
Why
in
didn't you
mathematics?
pursue beyond BSc?
So, since my class 12th, I was interested in civil services. So, I hadn't thought about making research career or going in academics.
देखिए ये जवाब आया ना असली 12वीं से मैं IAS के लिए सिविल सर्विसेज के लिए this is what we want to you to say if the question is asked you like this, asked from you, why are you from this area to the IAS, so you can mention that this was my right from 12th I was focused. So this focus thing is very important, which you have just said. We keep telling candidates, ये चीज बताओ जो आपने भी बताई है. That's it.
All the best.
All the best.
Thank you.